But first, Maine has 14 mountains that are at least 4,000 feet tall, and if you're looking for an outdoor challenge, try hiking to their summits. Too easy? Then try something dramatically more difficult, climbing those mountains in winter.
That is what Cam Held set out to do this year. Held is the editor of the print and online publication Maine the Way, and he has turned his experiences on the mountains into several videos called the Maine Winter Summit Series. They show a side of Maine hardly any of us will ever see.
How is that for a view, Ryan?
The schedule didn't allow much time for rest, for bad weather, or for unexpected mishaps.
But my sled detached and ripped the daisy chains that were holding it.
Cam Hurd wanted to summit every one of Maine's 4,000-foot peaks, starting in January and finishing by March 20th, the last day of winter.
Straight up out of a Dr. Seuss book.
He always hiked with a friend.
Oh, so good.
And they never knew for sure
that's awesome.
just what they would be in for.
I think that people who haven't done this kind of climbing before really won't have any sense of what it was like until they see the video. And then they will just be amazed at how physically arduous it is.
Yeah, you can do these hikes in the summer, and of course an 8.5 mile hike, regardless of the season, is a tough day out there. When you add a couple feet of snow and some really cold conditions or high winds, it quickly goes from difficult to truly daunting.
What was the coldest time that you experienced?
We had a stay up on the Bigelow Range, and I believe it got down to -10, -15 degrees that night, and we were just in a lean-to, even in a 0-degree bag and with an extra jacket and everything on. It's miserable. It's not even so bad sleeping, but it's when you have to get up in the morning and make coffee or get water boiling that you just don't want to move.
As if this undertaking weren't challenging enough, you also had the task of chronicling everything you did. Shooting video, making sure the video is usable, making sure the audio is usable. How hard was that aspect?
I had to be carrying multiple cameras. Battery management in the cold was a huge challenge. A battery that might last 4 hours of shooting in warmer conditions would sometimes only last 20 minutes in the cold. So that was a constant challenge, keeping batteries in pockets, sleeping with them in your sleeping bags.
At times it was so cold his equipment did not work.
It is so cold up here, but man, is it gorgeous. I feel so lucky.
It was exasperating when a fogged-up camera froze on the highest point in Maine.
I was right at the summit of Katahdin trying to document that moment and went to zoom, and it was binding up, and I spun it a little harder. I probably shouldn't have. And I heard a little crunch, and then, yeah, no more zooming for the rest of that trip. My lens seems to have frozen and no longer zooms on my main camera. And my tripod is broken as well.
The weight of what Held carried varied from trip to trip. For day hikes, his pack might weigh as little as 30 to 40 pounds. On one expedition, though, he and his partner each had 100 to 120 pounds worth of gear and supplies, some of it on their backpacks, some on the sleds they hauled under their own power. One part of his body took a beating.
Especially for the week-long ski trip in Baxter State Park. My feet just got torn up, blistered. You know, the boots would get wet. It was hard to dry them at night. And then you'd put the wet boots back on in the morning, and blisters got pretty bad.
Winter in these mountains provides a rare experience.
This is adventure.
No cell service, long nights, deep solitude.
Cooking dinner, and another great day here in Baxter State Park.
While he was in Baxter State Park, Held figures there were maybe a dozen people there. A dozen people in an area about the size of Saginaw County.
When the going was good, temperature's nice, not too much wind, maybe some sunshine, snow that's not too difficult, how did it feel?
Oh, amazing. In a place that not too many people get to see in the winter, it feels so wild and beautiful, and Maine is a really gorgeous spot, especially in the winter, I think.
Oh, this is great.
So the final scorecard, you set out to get to the summit of 14 peaks.
Yep.
How many did you make?
6th, the true summits, another one a couple hundred yards from the summit, and then a few partway up the mountain. So I have 8 that I'll have to do again next winter.
How good is this?
Life is good.
You may be wondering why we're showing you a story on winter hiking just when the weather has finally warmed up around here and gotten glorious. Well, as we mentioned, Cam Hurd was doing these hikes until the last half of March. Then he had to start editing some 200 to 300 hours of footage that he shot and turn it into different videos for the Maine Winter Summit Series.
I'm going to be in the car with the hot cocoa. That's all I'm going to say. If you would like to see more of his hiking adventures, we have a link to the Maine Winter Summit Series and the print on the online publications of it, I should say, of the Maine the Way, which you'll find on our New Center Maine app and our website. Got it out, Rob. Got it out.